Hi, friends. We at GLC would like to take a quick moment to thank you for watching our programs on this platform, and we'd like to ask you for a little favor. Would you please go beneath this video and click the subscribe button? Did you know that by simply subscribing to the GLC YouTube channel, you can help us financially support the programs on this platform? You'll need to be signed into YouTube beforehand. But if not, simply click the subscribe button and YouTube will automatically walk you through the steps to sign in or to create an account. By taking these simple steps, you will not only ensure that you continue to receive our unique programming and gain instant access to the hundreds of videos we post, but more importantly, you'll also be telling YouTube that GLC's content is worth watching and promoting. Likewise, if you enjoyed a specific program, please click the thumbs up button below, which also helps inform YouTube that this is a program worth recommending. Finally, once you have logged in and subscribed, please click the notification bell below in order to receive announcements when we post new content. As usual, feel free to post your questions and comments in the comments section below. We always love hearing from our friends and viewers. Again, thank you for watching and supporting God's Learning Channel. We couldn't spread the message of the gospel without you. Be blessed, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hello, welcome to another great Light of the Southwest. This is your host, Brant. Hadn't been on set in a little while, but I'm happy to be back on set. Never a better time with a young lady I call modern day Joan of Arc. She's a prophetic voice of this generation, author, speaker, minister. You name it, it's Cher Butler. How you doing, Cher?
Good. How are you, Brant?
Good to see you. It's been a minute.
I know, it's been a little while.
And you've been busy.
Yes.
You've been doing a lot of ministry, and of course you wrote a new book.
Yes.
And I'm very excited for people to hear about that. You know, you'll be able to see where to get that book as well, and also where to connect with Cher, because as busy as you are, you're hungry to reach as many people as you can, and people can make contact with you and arrange a time in your schedule. But hey, Cher, oh my gosh, where do we start? What's happening in the world? A lot of things are happening in 2025 that you got words about in 2022
Yes.
and before. But before we get into that, for those who haven't got to meet you yet, who is Cher Butler?
Well, thank you so much for that introduction. Like you said, I just have a heart and a passion to see people set on fire for Jesus and encounter God. And so that took me on a journey to where God placed me into ministry. Never thought I'd be doing this. And so I am the president of the I Will Not Keep Silent Ministries. People can connect at iwnks.com. And so a little bit of my background is, I was raised in Amarillo, Texas.
Yeah, Amarillo.
And we moved here, my husband and I, to the Permian Basin about 10 years ago. And I really felt like the Lord was saying, to come here, pioneer the prophetic and see a generation set on fire. And it's just taken off from there. It's been 10 years of inner healing, deliverance, prophetic ministry, equipping, training, e-courses and book writing and things of that nature. So, and of course, you've been a part of that ride a little bit as well. So I appreciate
Well,
that.
I'm honored. My gosh, it just seems like yesterday we were in the studio with Dick Salisbury.
Yes.
And I think there was a picture with Ryan and you and me and Dick as well. And, God's been putting people together for such a time as this. This is so important. That we lock shields with each other. And, the name in of itself is prophetic. I will not keep silent. Folks, what did being silent do for you? Did it help you? Those of us who have not been silent, we've only seen these things come to fruition. What used to be called a conspiracy theorist is basically someone who has insight or common sense, I'd hate to say, but it's true. And, Cher, the very name, I will not keep silent, That's a battle cry for this generation. We're seeing, especially after the Charlie Kirk assassination, millions of Charlie Kirks being raised up, and of course, people that are refusing to keep silent. Tell me where you got that name. What inspired that?
Well, it's based out of Isaiah 62, and it talks about how we will not keep silent for Jerusalem's sake until her light goes forth like a burning torch. And it really started back in 2014 when there was what I would consider a Holocaust in the Middle East of persecuted Christians.
Yeah.
And I know that under the Obama administration, that things were silent, and so. A few ladies and I, we gathered together, my mom and another lady in Amarillo, and we started just kind of rallying together under the banner of I Will Not Keep Silent to send aid to the persecuted Christians. And I think it's very interesting that now, today, 2025, we've kind of come full circle when we see Christian persecution now on the rise once again, unfortunately. And so I'm fired up, and I'm not going to keep silent about those things, and we're going to stand with our brothers and sisters. And like you said, the Charlie Kirks, and I consider myself, the new trend is I am Charlie Kirk. Our family is as well, and we're not going to keep silent in this generation. I believe we're in spiritual warfare, and so with that said, we are not going to bow down to the enemy, and we're not going to be scared. We're not going to run. We're going to run head forward. And I believe that is why the Lord gave us armor on the front, not on the back, because we're to face the enemy head on. And so that's what I plan to do. And also, I believe the Lord has his hand on Gen Z. We see the devil coming in different areas, trying to pervert things and their identity. But at the same time, we are seeing revival in America. So the darkness is not going to overtake it.
Many times, amen. Many times, revival follows persecution.
That's right.
Back in the day, the tail end of the Jesus People movement, what started as a bunch of hippies for Jesus baptizing on beaches, right?
Yes.
If you've seen that, turned into yet, another mechanism God has used greatly. However, over time, we began to equate revival with full churches.
Right.
When really revival is in the highways and the byways. We love the church. We love pastors. I want you all to do well. I really do. And we rejoice for you, especially those who will not keep silent. Because right now, in 2020, did you know, Cher, that 34 million evangelicals didn't even vote in 2020? 34 million. And then a little different story the last time, right? Because they're figuring out, wait a minute, if we don't take the ground, somebody else will. That's why it's so important that you show up, that you vote, that you get engaged. You're going to see in coming shows Dan Rogers of patriotsinaction.com. It's time that we occupy the land. We take dominion. That command to take dominion never went away. But I've been saying for years here on GLC and other platforms that this has been a Deborah season. The last several years has been a Deborah season. And women have been rising up. Well, you've been ahead of that curve, but you definitely facilitate that with your ministry. Of course, you're not limited to women. I mean, men and women come to your ministry events, and all that. But I'm just so proud of you, Cher. Since I've known you, you've been so bold. You've been fearless. When I first started talking with you years ago, you do these events in the park, public, and ministering to people. And hey, there weren't offerings involved. How many know you can minister even when there's not an offering involved? No shame, no blame if you do that. It takes money to do ministry, don't get me wrong. But we need people to be engaged and to take dominion, to take the ground, to make the most of every opportunity like the word tells us to. But you've been doing that for a long time, Cher. And you've done that on big stages. You've done that, just one-on-one. But you have a personal heart for people, especially those who need deliverance. And that used to be a taboo thing, but my gosh, look at the news now. The enemy is not hiding anymore. So I Will Not Keep Silent ministries with these events. What would you tell people, especially women during this Deborah season, who are feeling the pull to take their place in ministry, what would you say?
Yeah, well, there's a lot there to unpack. First, when you talked about Jesus' revolution, it's written about in this book as well, because I believe we're coming back into a time where we're going to see a similar outpouring of the Lord, of course, with Gen Z. And then there's the pioneers, and you're a pioneer. I am a pioneer, like you said, ahead of the curve, um, because the Lord did. For a period of time, raise up women, and he's still doing that. But what I've noticed during this time, 2025, is that for the last 4 years, the Lord started to raise up women, take them out of the back of the churches, and not that we don't want to serve the children and anything like that, but it's that the women had a voice and had a place in ministry. The Lord put them in their place. But I've seen a lot of men who have become complacent, where we had a lot of women in the ministry, where the Lord said, no, I'm raising up my warrior men in this time as well. And so what I have seen is a great outpouring, even in our ministry, with men. So we have some wonderful men who have come under as pastors in our ministry, and
Awesome.
we are a fivefold ministry. So we have prophets, evangelists, pastors, and all of that. But I've seen the rise of men and women. So what I think is, what I would say to the people who feel the tug of the Lord is that you don't have to just start big. You can start where you're at. You can start in your home. You can start at your job. A lot of people, they go to work, and it's like that's where your ministry is going to start. And just like me and you, Brant, if they'll put their faith in the Lord, who knows where they're going to end up. Neither one of us thought we would be where we are today.
Right.
But for me, my ministry started in my marriage. The Lord said, "Oh, focus on your marriage, and that's where you'll grow." So I would say to start small and just trust in the Lord to do the bigger things, because He will, and He's moving right now.
And to trust him in the waiting,
Yes.
which is what your book is
Yeah.
about. Show us that beautiful book there.
Yeah, so this is In the Waiting. And so this came out about a year ago, and I was inspired by you, Brant. I remember
Wow,
whenever
that
you
blows me away.
Yeah, you said you got to write that book. So this is a book about a 7 year process. So it's the journey between the wilderness and the promised land. And how many times do we get stuck in the wilderness for longer than God intended? So this book is a tool to help people be inspired with the supernatural stories, encounters I've had with angels and demons and the call of the Lord, but also how to come out of the wilderness and not remain there for years. My wilderness was a 7 year long season, and there was a lot of growth in there. But during that time in the waiting, I have found often we believe we're waiting on God,
Mhm.
but the waiting is not passive, it's active, and He's usually waiting on us
Yes.
to do what
Yeah.
He's called us to do. And so that's what
Preparation.
this is about. Yes.
Well, can I see it?
Yes.
Look at this. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. This is so awesome. And, this is a time where people are hungry. Beautiful book. You also have poems by Ruthie
hmm
Dickey.
And so she had a period of time where she would wake up in the morning with this beautiful poetry. And if, I didn't know the Bible well, I would be like, is this King David writing this? And she was like, no, the Lord has given me this poetry. So I saved that poetry, and the Lord said to put it in the book. So there is prophetic anointed poetry at the start of every chapter. So I believe this book is going to touch many lives.
There's a lot of facets to you and your ministry. I asked you to bring your book because you're prepared to talk about anything. But sometimes people, they need something tactile. They need something they can read that will help them. This looks very reader friendly,
Yes.
and I can't wait to read my copy. Is this an autographed copy right here?
That's
There
your
you go.
copy, and there's a special note for you in the backside of that book, because you helped me to
Oh, I'm
inspired
honored, Cher.
to be obedient. I was
Wow.
disobedient, and part of my wilderness was me not stepping out and writing that. And so
Wow. You know what? Psalm 139. I wrote a book called Red Pill Prophet, and I had an epiphany. I won't even go into that, but your life's already been written. And so some of you think you might have missed it. You haven't missed it. You're right on time. And when you come to the knowledge, okay, it's time. Do it. You got to do it.